You know, back in my workshop.py here, um, I didn't go through classes, but this will make it actually so much easier to understand what all these are. Okay. So this is what a class is. A class is another Python file. So create a new file. I'm gonna call it GPA calculator. Okay, calc. Just gonna make it quickly. Okay. I'm not gonna make it from the beginning. I'm gonna copy paste, but I'll explain exactly what it is. Okay, this is a different thing in Python, and it's if anyone has done object-oriented programming before with Java or something, it's the same exact thing, which is this. It's like a class. Okay, it's this class.
I'm sorry, Mustafa, just to interrupt for a second. Do you mind sharing your screen so they can see the code for
Oh yes, sorry, I didn't change it.
yeah.
Okay, I made a new Python file. Just to reiterate, I made a. This will make this much. This will make this stuff much easier to understand, like all this option menu and all that. That'll make it so much easier to understand if I explain classes. So, a class is basically another Python file, but you make it like this. So you say class. You start it with class, and then the name of the class. Okay. So my name of the class is GPA Calc. Oh, yeah, GPA Calculator. Okay. That's gonna be my name of my class, and I'm gonna do this like bracket and then colon. All right. And here in my class, I need a couple functions. I need a function called init, and it has to have these two underscores. So it's like if I write it again, it's underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Okay. This is the function. It has to be there. And what I do is this function is when I make this class. So if in my workshop.py, okay, I want to use this class. Okay, I want to use these functions. These are a bunch of functions I have in a different Python file, just like the library we had for Tkinter. I want to use these actually. So what I do is this: I I create a variable, call it to like my GPA, for example, since this is a GPA calculator, and I say equals to. And actually, in the top, we have to, like we did in the GUI, we have to import. Let me just see. Yeah, all you have to do is uh, do this from GPA calc, which is the name of my file, right? So my name of the file is GPA calc. I say from GPA calc import, and what is my name of my class? It's the same name, GPA calc, right? So up top here, I said this. Remember in our GUI here, we set import Tkinter as TK. It's basically this import Tkinter part, but since GPA calc is not included in my Python, I made that file. Like it's not, it doesn't come when you install Python. This is a file I made. I have to say from GPA calc, so from this Python file, import this class. Tkinter is also a class, basically. This imports a class or a module. So what you do is this: from GPA calc import this, and in the very bottom, if I just scroll down, because I okay, my GPA here. Okay, now I want to create a calculator for my GPA. What I do is call GPA calc, which is the name of my class. All right, the name of my class is GPA calc, and now inside here I have to give it two things. Sorry, total points and total grade points and total units taken. So far in your year, like in your university, for example, how many grade points do you have and how many total units taken? You can even see this calculation on RAMs if you look at your GPA. So say I'm still like entering first year and I don't have any courses taken. So 0 grade points and 0 total units taken, right? Because total units taken is the amount of courses you've taken, and total grade points is like all your grades, all your GPAs added together. So I'm still a first year. I haven't gotten any grades yet. So I created a class called GPA Calc, and I do this. My GPA equals to GPA Calc. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So um, you probably want to know what this self is. Okay, so you have to put this self in a class. You have to put this self here always, which basically means this. You see here in our Python, in our Tkinter, you know how we had to say tk dot for every single thing? It's because that's what the self is. In when we do tk dot here, we actually give in the Tkinter class for self the value of tk. What it means is this, because let me make it. I'm just gonna delete. Actually, I'll make a new one. Uh, just make it pain. Okay, so with classes, what's good about them is you can make like multiple instances of this class. I can have my GPA, which is of the class GPA calc. Then I can have my friend's GPA, and it's of the same class. But you see how the self, this is our self, okay? Our self is different, meaning like what is this class talk? What are you? What GPA is like? What instance are you using for this? This is also, let me actually explain it in code. Give me a second. It's kind of hard when it's your first time. So these two are of type class GPA calc, right? But they're separate. These two are separate. Like any GPAs I enter into this class is not going to show up into this class. They're two different instances. That's what a class is. So that self in your here defines which instance you're talking about. So in my here in here, if I make my friend's GPA also, say my friend's also in first year, and I just copy this, okay? These are now two different instances of the GPA class, one for my GPA and one for my friend's GPA, okay? And we both want to use this calculator. So what I do is this. Now, if you look at my class, what I do first in this init is once I give it, okay, well, once I give it like my grade points, which I put here 0, 0, right? So I give it 0 here and 0 here. I tell it, so for my GPA, which we said self, right? Self is self is equal to my GPA for here, this one, and self is equal to friend's GPA for this one. So I'm telling it for the instance that is for my GPA, my grade points is whatever I gave in here, and my total units taken is whatever I give in here. It's basically like initializing your variables. You're just making a variable with the parameters you gave here. You gave 0 and 0. So these two variables for your instance is going to be 0 and 0. And here I just have a, you don't even need this actually. I'll delete it because I didn't use it. Wait, actually, is it? Do I need it? Course marks. No, I did use it in the end. Okay, never mind. What I could do is this. So see, I have another function called, it's gonna end very soon. This is like the last thing I'm teaching. Um, I said define add mark, and this add mark has, it's another function, and I give it a course and I give it a GPA. So I could go here and I say my GPA dot add mark, right? And now I can give it a course. So I say course one. I don't have this here like this. And then I give it the GPA I got for that course. Let's say it's like a 3.67. Okay. And then I could add another one. My GPA dot add mark course two. And then I give it, I don't know, 4.0. Okay. So now that I have that, I can also call this, I can print my GPA currently using this function we have here, get GPA, right? If I write print my GPA dot get GPA here, and I print it, 1 second. Oh, it's a small. Where? Oh, let's make this also small. Sorry. Yeah. See here. After only two courses, and if you have these two courses for your GPA, in my GPA, I added these two courses and I did a calculation here that gave you your current GPA, and now that's saved. But now if I have my friend's GPA and I do the same thing, but instead of my GPA, I instead put friend's GPA. It's another instance of this class. So any marks I added into this class, this instance, my GPA, is not added into here because it's a different instance of the class. It's like another file you're running at the same time, basically. And let's say now this is like 4.33 and 4.0. Okay, and also even do this. Okay, so and I change friend's GPA to here, and I do the same thing. Now see here, my GPA is 3.835, but my friend's GPA is 4.165 after two courses, and they're not related. So any values I added to this my GPA is not added to the friend's GPA because it's two different instances. That's what we did here. This one, this one. That's what a class is, and that's what we used here. So anything that we did, like the options menu, that's a class for TK. So we say TK is our class. Remember here how we said TK.tk like this? That's the initializer, and then this is all our classes. That's it. That's all what I wanted to teach, so you understand like why we use these. It's basically different classes, and this is another way of coding Python that you're gonna see a lot if you go into like codes online. And it's a much easier way to, or a much better way to program, because you can like you don't have to put everything related to each other. You can have multiple instances running at the same time for one thing, like a calculator, for example. Chat window. Okay. Actually, is it okay if I just send it after in the email? You won't be able to copy that while on the class on the chat. Yeah. Okay, it'll be sent after. Yeah. Um. Let me go back to the this. Sorry for took too much. Took longer than expected, but I just wanted to go over everything for the workshop. So we went all over this. Yep, and we went through this, and this is the end for this workshop. The recording will be posted on the R3 YouTube channel. Yeah, it took a lot longer than expected, but I hope you guys learned a lot through this workshop.